Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, this week's tip is pay attention to what you say and what you do. You never know how it's going to influence people or how it's going to change someone's life. Um, I got a letter from a subscriber, and this is from Vincent Lamontagna. I hope I got that right. But Vincent sent me a letter, and he sent me something else, and I just wanted to share some of it with you. Dear Stu Pluback, I've been watching your channel for a while. And you, sir, have become an inspiration to me. I wish one day I can show people my collection and history of the notes. And so you're like a celebrity to me. I was very honored to receive something from your collection and to get an autograph from you. But I did not write this letter just to give you my gratitude. I wrote this letter to send you something, which I will get to later. Thank you very much for the letter. It makes me feel so good to see that I have such a positive influence on people like that. Yes, you can make videos to show people. There's nothing stopping anybody from putting them up. Remember, that's how I started. The whole point of me doing a channel in the first place was so that I could show my notes to me. And just in case, I put in a couple other things about the notes so that I could rewatch my own videos and keep refreshing my mind as to what's in there. For the first year, I probably had less than 10 subscribers, less than 50 subscribers for sure. But I would constantly rewatch the videos to remind myself of what I was learning about each note. It's a great way to learn. But more importantly, by having it out there, it allowed other people to learn. And I never really thought about that. I never really considered how many people would start collecting based on me just recording my own collection. I guess the bottom line is that's the kind of person you want to be. You want to be the person helping out those who don't know. You don't want to be like half the scammers I run into just trying to take advantage of people. So take that forward. Take what you know and find a way to share that. Find a way to use that to help other people out. I am just so happy every time I get notes like this. It's not the first one I've gotten, but to know that what I'm doing is putting a positive out there in the world, that means a lot to me. All right, guys, we're gonna see what I found this week. Now, the notes that I went through this week are the first batch of my Vegas notes, and the Vegas list for this week. These are from Bellagio, Palazzo, Paris, Venetian, Resorts World, Mirage, Caesar's Palace, Cosmopolitan, Aria, and the Cromwell. So these are all center strip, bigger name places. So I didn't expect to find a whole lot because, as I've said before, when you go to the higher end places, they order singles from the Fed to make change for the rich people. It seems that the places that cater to the working class, well, working class people will find a note and think it's cool and set it aside, and then when it's time to go on vacation, they tend to spend them. So the high class places, they use singles for change. They get them from the reserve. The places for all of us, well, that's where you find a lot of the good stuff. But anyway, we'll see what we found this week. All right, scoot these out of the way. Starting off, I found an alternator. 0 is the alternator, 0907, 0909. If that 7 was a 9, that would have been an extremely cool, extremely valuable note. I found a birthday note, 5/10/1973, so it's May 10th, 1973. I found another birthday note. This one is 2022, January 10th, or the 1st of September, 1st of October, make that. This is 1996, January of 24th. And I think these are fun. I pull them when I find them, but I don't save them. It's a MASH note, 4077. Ask your parents. And I found another one, 4077. Like I said, when I find these, I think it's fun, but they're going back in circulation. Found some trinaries, 0s, 2s, and 5s. 2s, 4s, and 7s, 7s, 8s, and 9s, 0s, 5s, and 6s, 3s, 5s, and 6s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, 0, 2s, and 9s, and some quads. Quad zeros at the end. Yes, I know there is a wedding transfer. No, it's not worth anything more because it's still just a quad anyway. Quads don't have any additional value. Quads and trinaries, like I said, I always save these hoping to find pairs, which I've succeeded. This one's got quad 2s, quad 5s, quad 5s again, quad 8s with a 5th, and it's a trinary, 2s, 6s, and 8s. This one has 5 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 3s. So that one's kind of cool. And once again, I show these just so you have an idea of how often you're going to find stuff like this. I don't find 5 in a row very often, but you saw how many quads I found in 1,000. If I find 5 in a row once every 3 or 4 weeks, well, you'll see it. So you'll see exactly how frequently those show up. And then you can determine whether or not they're rare. When I start with a thing this thick, well, most of these aren't rare. All right, I got some stars. 2017 A star note, always checking to see if they're filled. Another 2017 A, another one, nice shape. Starting with a few zeros, this has got a chance at being something special. Another 2017 A here. 2013, another 2013. And this was one of the first 2021s I found. When I went to Vegas, I found a couple in the straps. I didn't find any in change, but I found them in the straps when I got home. And then when I got home, the bank said they had 1,000 singles for me. I went through those, and as you saw last week, I found a 2021. So after this Vegas run, all the notes for the 5,000 notes from Vegas, that'll be the last time I show 2021s. But yes, I have found them. In fact, I have found quite a few. As you can see, these are all 2021s. And then we get to the older ones. 2003A. Like, yeah, these probably aren't worth anything, but the whole point is nobody is saving them. So I will pull them from circulation, and then as I get a bunch of them, I'll start culling them and only keep the better ones. That way I at least have some, because nobody has them. Nobody bothered to save these. Another 2003A, 2003, 2003, and of course I'm using 20 years as my cutoff, so 2003A is technically 20 years, with it being 2023 as I record this. Another 2003. I guess that's kind of a birthday note too. 1930, February 27th. 2003, 1999. Another 99, pretty rough shape. Another 99, pretty rough. 1995, looking to see if it's a web note. No dice on that one. Another 95, double checking, and this 1995 is very crisp, almost crisp uncirculated. Really nice note. I got this one from Resorts World, and not only is it a 95 and crisp, it ends in Y. It's one of the few times we actually made it all the way to Y. Now keep in mind that Y means we started at A and they printed 100 million notes, and then it went to B and they printed another 100 million, and then C, and then D, and so on down the line. Now they don't use O, so they skip that. They go M, then N, and then straight to P, and obviously they didn't use Z. So there were 24 different letters used as the suffix here, which would be 2.4 billion notes. And this one does happen to end in Y. It's very rare to see Y. I'm not saying it's worth any money because it's a Y, but you know, it's a crisp note with a Y from 1995. So maybe it's got a little bit on there. I wouldn't say this is a $100 note, but if it was $2 or $3, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, something you don't see every day. All right. So what did I bring out this week? Well, I'm going to show the note that my friend Vincent sent to me. Vincent sent me a military payment certificate. This particular one is a 5-cent military certificate, and it is actually in really decent shape for a military certificate. You can see here it is from the series of 681. The 681 series all of the military certificates, military payment certificates, MPCs. That's where they get their name, military payment certificate, MPC. The way that you tell the series on military payment certificates, or I should say the year, is by the series. This one is 681, and what that refers to is 1968, and then the 1 indicates that it was the first series. If there was a 2, then it would be the second series. Not all of the series have more than one. Not all the years have more than one series, but if you see anything other than a 1, that helps you figure out what it is. This, I want to say, is a nuclear submarine. And that is really impressive for an MPC. This particular series is one of the cooler ones out there. This particular one features the sub on one side and it features an astronaut on the other. Pretty amazing for 1968. I mean, you want to talk about the two things that were the most impressive achievements at the time: putting a man in space. Yes, I know we didn't make it to the moon until a year later, but not the point. An astronaut in space and having the nuclear sub on the side. Really cool note, really impressive note. And I remember the first time I saw this, I thought this guy was a scuba diver, but no, he's an astronaut. One of the things, though, about MPCs that you want to know is, yes, they did have replacement notes, but they did not use stars. With military payments, you can see the 2 letters on the outside here. If it was a replacement note, they would simply have a letter and the serial number, and they would not have the second letter there. They would just leave that blank. So that's how you can tell the replacement notes. Now, as far as finding values on these, that's a little tougher. What I use for value is I use Green Sheet. Now, for those of you who don't know, Green Sheet is the counterpart to Gray Sheet. If you are a coin collector, I'm sure you know what Gray Sheet is. That's basically a listing of wholesale prices. That's what this is supposed to be. It says right here, a monthly report on the wholesale U.S. currency market. And this particular one is dated August 2022. I have another one dated like 2020, so 2 years from prior, and I decided to buy this one just to see how much things have changed. And according to Green Sheet, not much has, which is funny because a lot of stuff changed in the Blue Book, but you can't find stuff for the prices listed in Blue Book because everything is much more expensive. So maybe I should buy another Green Sheet just to compare prices, just to see. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of dealers would tend to use Green Sheet when they're buying, and they tend to use the Blue Book when selling. So there's that. Green Sheet covers just about everything. I mean, here's the contents here. I mean, you've got legal tenders, compound interest, interest-bearing, silver certificates, treasuries, gold certificates, small size, large size. And let's see, military payments. So yeah, when you start flipping through this, I mean, you can see just chart after chart covering everything and all the different conditions. Looking across, you can see VG8, Fine 12, VF20, VF35, XF40, AU50, and it continues all the way across: 58, 60, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. So it gives you a great idea on how condition affects the price. Here's some of the MPCs. You can see 681, the one that I showed right here. See, now here's the thing. The very first one is the 5-cent note, and according to this, 75 cents, $1, $1.50, $2, $3, and that's wholesale. And I disagree. I think these are probably in the $5 to $10 range, even though it is 5 cents, because they're just not that many out there. A lot of these are not in good condition. So if you find one in good condition, definitely scoop it up. I think this is probably one of the fields in our hobby that is underrated at the time. Nobody seems to be collecting a lot of these, and it's a great starting point for a lot of people because they aren't that expensive. So you can put together full sets of all the different denominations at a relatively cheap price. I think the only place the market is going on these is up. So definitely a great way to increase your collection. A great way to angle out from just collecting the standard things that a lot of people do. So, Vincent, thank you once again for sending me this particular note, and thank you for the letter because it really made my day. All right, guys, if you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.